2023, a decorated U.S. intelligence officer walked into Congress and said, under oath, that the American government has been secretly recovering and reverse engineering non-human spacecraft for decades. So why haven't you heard more about it? Buckle up, folks. This one goes deep. UFOs, unidentified flying objects, or as the Pentagon now calls them, UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena, because apparently rebranding is the first step in transparency. For over 75 years, governments, especially the United States, have been accused of knowing far more about these things than they're telling us. We've got crashed objects, recovered materials, secret programs with billion-dollar black budgets, and whistleblowers risking everything to come forward. So what is the official story? What do the skeptics say? And what do the people who have allegedly seen the classified files believe is really going on? Tonight, we crack this file wide open. Here's what the government officially admits, and folks, even the official version is wild enough. In 2017, the New York Times broke the story that the Pentagon had been secretly running a program called ADIP, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, a covert operation funded to the tune of $22 million, tasked with investigating UFO encounters by military personnel. Then came the videos. The U.S. Navy officially declassified 3 gun camera videos, FLIR 1, Gimbal, and GAFEST, showing objects moving in ways that defied known aerodynamics. No visible propulsion, no wings performing maneuvers that would destroy any human pilot. The Navy confirmed the objects in those videos are real and unidentified. In 2021, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released a bombshell report, 144 UAP incidents reported by U.S. military personnel between 2004 and 2021. Of those 144 cases, they could only explain one. Just one. The other 143, unknown. Then in 2022, Congress passed, and the President signed the National Defense Authorization Act, which included a provision formally establishing the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or ARO, specifically to track UAPs. They made a whole government office for something that doesn't exist. Interesting choice. And then came David Grush. In June 2023, this former U.S. Air Force intelligence officer and National Reconnaissance Office representative, a man with the highest security clearances in the country, testified before Congress under oath. He claimed the U.S. government has been operating for decades covert programs to recover and reverse engineer non-human origin craft. He said people had been murdered to keep these programs secret. He said private aerospace contractors, not even government agencies, were the ones holding the retrieved materials. The Pentagon, for its part, released its most thorough review in March 2024, concluding it found no verifiable evidence of alien cover-ups and attributed many historical sightings to secret spy plane test flights, weather balloons, and misidentified conventional aircraft. So the official line is probably nothing, but we've got a whole office investigating it. And also, please stop asking about the black budget programs. Now, the skeptics, and there are serious, credentialed ones, make compelling counter-arguments that deserve airtime. Mick West, author of Debunking UFOs and founder of Metabunk.org, has argued that virtually all the famous Navy UAP videos can be explained by camera artifacts, parallax effects, and pilot misidentification. The gimbal video, he argues, shows the rotation of a camera gimbal housing, not a rotating craft. Astronomer and SETI researcher Seth Shostak has pointed out that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And after 75 years, no physical artifact of confirmed non-human origin has ever been presented publicly, tested independently, or peer-reviewed. On David Grush specifically, some journalists and researchers note that he hasn't produced physical evidence, that his claims are entirely testimony-based, and that his information came secondhand from other sources, not from personal direct access to recovered craft. The Pentagon's Inspector General did find his whistleblower complaint credible and urgent, but that's a procedural finding about the complaint process, not a confirmation that aliens exist. Science historian Greg Eghigen, writing in Scientific American, argues that UFO belief has historically functioned as a mirror of cultural anxieties, Cold War fears, distrust of government post-Watergate, the search for meaning rather than evidence of actual extraterrestrial contact, and on Roswell, arguably the OG UFO cover-up, The historical record is actually pretty clear. The initial 1947 reports described a flying disc. The Air Force then said it was a weather balloon, but in 1994, declassified documents revealed it was actually debris from Project Mogul, a top secret program using high-altitude balloons to spy on Soviet nuclear tests. The cover-up was real, the aliens, not confirmed. The skeptical view isn't that nothing strange is happening. It's that strange doesn't automatically mean extraterrestrial. It could mean classified domestic or foreign technology, atmospheric phenomena, sensor glitches, or the most terrifying possibility of all, that our military doesn't actually know what's flying in our own airspace, which is also not great. All right, folks, you knew this part was coming. I've got my guy here. He's calm, he's collected. He has 17 browser tabs open at all times. Tinfoil, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Let's start with the one everyone knows, but nobody's actually followed to its conclusion. Roswell, 1947. The Army Air Force first told the press they recovered a flying disc. Their words. Then, within 24 hours, they changed the story to a weather balloon.
Right, and we now know it was a Project Mogul balloon. Case closed. Mystery solved. Good night, everybody.
Except the initial press release came from the base intelligence officer, Major Jesse Marcel, a trained military intelligence professional who thought it was a flying disc. And later, in interviews, Marcel described material that was unlike anything he had ever seen. Metal that couldn't be bent, foil that returned to its original shape instantly. That's not a weather balloon.
Okay, maybe Marcel was just bad at balloons.
He'd recovered downed aircraft before. He knew what crashed debris looked like. But here's the pattern. The same thing that happened at Roswell happened at every major incident after it. A rapid official explanation. Witnesses who later changed their stories. And then, eventually, a declassified program that explains most of it, but never quite all of it.
Get a load of this. You're saying the cover-up is the cover-up.
I'm saying real cover-ups. Project Mogul, ARTIP, the Navy's UAP task force, were confirmed to exist after years of denial. So the question isn't whether the government hides things about UAPs. We know it does. The question is what's underneath the cover-up we already know about.
Oh, it gets better, doesn't it? There's always another layer.
David Grush testified under oath before Congress, under legal penalty of perjury, that the U.S. has recovered craft of non-human origin and that private aerospace contractors, not government agencies, are the ones holding the materials. He named the Inspector General. The complaint was found credible and urgent.
You cannot be serious. Congress just let that happen and moved on.
Two things happened. First, Congress did take it seriously. They passed legislation requiring the UAP Disclosure Act. They demanded documents. Then, and this is where it gets interesting, the provisions were quietly stripped out of the final bill. Someone didn't want those documents released. Ask who benefits from keeping these programs in private contractor hands. No congressional oversight. No FOIA requests. No accountability. Follow the money.
Okay, who is getting paid here?
Look at the aerospace companies with classified UAP-adjacent contracts. Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works. Bigelow Aerospace. Robert Bigelow literally told 60 Minutes he believed retrievals had happened. These are not basement YouTubers. These are defense contractors and billionaires saying the same things Grush said.
So we've got the government pointing at contractors, the contractors staying quiet, and Congress getting its UAP provisions removed. Sounds totally normal, completely above board.
There's more. The UAP videos released by the Navy, the ones the Pentagon confirmed are real, show objects performing maneuvers that violate our known understanding of physics. No heat signature, no sonic boom at supersonic speed, instantaneous acceleration. Look at the USS Nimitz incident, 2004. Multiple pilots, multiple radar systems, multiple ship sensors, all confirming the same object.
And the official explanation for that is?
There isn't one. That's in the DNI report. 143 unexplained incidents, just sitting there, officially unresolved.
Oh, fantastic. Just 143 things buzzing around the most advanced military in human history, and nobody knows what they are. Great. Super normal.
The last thing I'll say, the timing of the 2024 Pentagon review matters. They dropped it the same week Congress was pushing hardest on the UAP Disclosure Act. The review says no evidence of alien cover-up. But they also admitted they couldn't access all the programs they needed to review because some sat in special access programs they weren't cleared for. They literally couldn't check all the rooms.
So the investigation into the cover-up was itself blocked by the cover-up.
I've said too much. The documents do the talking.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you ruin a Tuesday. So here's where everyone actually agrees and where things fall apart completely. Everyone agrees the government has been lying about something in the sky for decades. Project Mogul at Roswell, the existence of Audip, the classification of Navy UAP data. These aren't theories, they're documented facts. Cover-ups happened. The debate is only about what was covered up. Everyone agrees. There are genuine unexplained aerial incidents, observed by trained military personnel, recorded on multiple sensor systems, that have not been officially explained. 143 of them on record, as of the 2021 DNI report. Where they diverge, the mainstream and skeptical view says these are likely mundane explanations, foreign technology, sensor artifacts, atmospheric phenomena, and that no confirmed non-human artifact exists. The alternative and conspiracy view says the absence of public evidence is itself the product of a deliberate, multi-decade suppression program run partly through private contractors specifically to avoid oversight. The most uncomfortable overlap. The Pentagon's own 2024 review admitted its investigators were blocked from accessing certain special access programs relevant to UAP history. So even the official investigation confirmed it couldn't see everything. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's a footnote in the government's own report. All right, folks, here's where I reluctantly put the bombast away and give it to you straight. Here's what the evidence actually supports. Real, unexplained aerial phenomena have been observed and recorded by credible military witnesses and instruments. The government has demonstrably kept secrets about what flies in its airspace. Some of those secrets have been revealed as classified human technology, spy planes, surveillance balloons. Some remain unexplained. David Grush's testimony is legally significant. Perjury before Congress is a federal crime, and he testified anyway. But testimony alone, however credible, is not physical evidence. No retrieved craft, no biological material, no independent scientific analysis of non-human materials has ever been publicly confirmed, tested, or peer-reviewed. The skeptical case, that most UAPs are misidentified conventional objects or classified human technology, is the most evidentially supported conclusion available today. But most is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. The gap between most explained and all explained is where the real mystery lies. What we can say for certain, the U.S. government has actively concealed information about what it knows regarding UAPs, even from its own congressional overseers. Whether that concealment hides alien craft or embarrassing surveillance failures, it represents a breakdown of democratic transparency that deserves exactly the scrutiny it's finally starting to receive. The truth is out there. We just haven't been allowed to read the whole file yet. That's the UFO cover-up file, officially closed, unofficially wide open. Drop your theory in the comments, hit subscribe if you want the next classified briefing, and remember, the truth doesn't care if you believe it.